Hello, and welcome to Steps 3 and 4 of Building an Understanding of Public Relations Theory. Lecture pod number 8 is the final lecture within the second module titled Public Relations Theory, and we'll take a closer look at specific public relations theories, rhetorical and interpretive perspectives, and their role within the field of public relations.
The excellence theory. Again, we referred to this last week when talking about Grunig and Hunt's 4 models of public relations. This theory resulted from a study by Grunig and Dozier that began all the way back in 1985. It confirmed that public relations is a unique management function that helps an organisation interact with the social and political components of its environment. Symmetrical communication is seen as more effective and fair communication. And for communication functions such as marketing, advertising, and public relations to be excellent, they should be integrated through a senior communication executive. Activism is good for the organisation because it allows a dialogue with the activist publics and therefore addresses issues before they can escalate. Organisations with excellent public relations also have a participative organisational culture. So a culture in which the employees and management feel that they are equally heard and they participate equally. It's a more level structure. They also have a symmetrical internal communication. So there is a balanced communication flow between all levels of the organisation. They also have what we call organic rather than mechanical structures. So the way the business operates is more fluid and able to be flexible depending on what is happening at the time. Much less rigid structures. Able to be more responsive. They have programs that encourage fair treatment for minorities, and also all of this results in a high level of job satisfaction amongst employees. In 1984, James Grunig and Todd Hunt introduced the 4 models of public relations that primarily trace the evolution of public relations practice. These models have become the basis for how we categorise public relations practice. Despite some criticisms about these models, Grunig argues that these models are still relevant within the context of the digital media environment. He believes that the digital media actually facilitate the theories and make it much easier for organisations to apply them, if indeed they choose to do so. Since the models were conceptualised, they have been widely tested and critiqued. As a result, several variations and extensions to the 4 models have now been offered. 2 such variations are the personal influence. This reflects the reality that most relationships developed in the practice of public relations depend in large part on one's interpersonal communication skills. The second is the mixed motive model. This arose after Murphy applied game theory in suggesting that organisational public relations is a mixed motive game. Both sides pursue their own interests, but both sides also realise that the game's outcome, the relationship in this context, must be both satisfactory to both sides. The benefit of this approach is that public relations practitioners are able to get their senior managers to see their organisation's behaviours through the public's viewpoints. Moreover, the mixed motive model allows practitioners to assess their capabilities to gain a win-win outcome for their organisation and the stakeholders involved in the process. The mixed motive model presents the possibility that organisations and publics have different positions on issues and can hold conflicting interests. Then we have the situational theory of publics, and this explains how and why publics communicate. 3 variables that predict communication behaviour, attitude change, and behavioural change are the individual's level of involvement, the extent to which individuals recognise that a problem actually affects them, and the extent to which individuals feel there are factors stopping them from acting or changing their behaviour. This theory helps us to prioritise target publics, especially in the case of a crisis. Relationship management. Relationships should be at the heart of public relations. The relational perspective emerged due to the recognition of the central role of relationships in the study and practice of public relations, reconceptualising public relations as a management function, the emergence of measurement strategies, and the construction of models that accommodate relationships. Critical to the concept is the shift from thinking about public relations as a focus on message production to a management function. The following dimensions are also necessary for relationship management: building trust, demonstrating involvement, investment, commitment, and maintaining open and frank communication. Ledingham and Brunning's research revealed a two-step process for organisations wishing to apply public relations as relationship management. Organisations must focus on the relationships with their key publics to build relationships with them. Organisations must let their key publics know about the activities or programs that are being implemented. Dialogue and transparency are key elements that need to be considered in the relational perspective. By engaging in dialogue, both parties are able to develop a deeper understanding of the other's position, where a common ground or compromise might emerge. However, to have a meaningful dialogue, transparency is necessary as it generates trust and increases accountability. Transparency requires reciprocity and is also culture-bound, so for relationship management to work requires a deeper understanding of political, social, and cultural contexts. Step 4, rhetorical and interpretive perspectives. Rhetorical and interpretive perspectives refer to the ways people construct meaning through words, images, actions, and context, so the tools of the public relations trade. And cultural theory. A cultural studies approach focuses on the meaning of cultural artefacts and argues that producers of these artefacts exercise power and control over that culture, and this also includes the study of signs, which is semiotics. And finally, critical perspectives can be traced back to Karl Marx's critique of the political economy, Habermas's theory of communicative action, and Michel Foucault's writings on sites of power. In terms of its place in public relations, critical theory encourages us to be self-aware and transparent in the way we think, write, and teach.
This lecture pod discussed arguably one of, if not the, most important public relations theories, Grunig and Hunt's excellence theory and their 4 models of communication, along with the situational theory of publics and relationship management theory, all critical in understanding how public relations works. This lecture concludes the module titled Public Relations Theory and has provided you with a more detailed understanding of the important theories underpinning the public relations discipline.